Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and today we're going to be doing a deck tech for a upgrade to mono green Stompy with the drop of Crimson Vow, the new Innistrad set that's coming out this Thursday. As always, what we try to do is kind of come up with an idea of where we want to start and test with the new set. This isn't necessarily going to be the final version, but the cards I want to test out, see how they play, things will slot in and out, but really the focus is about trying out new cards, seeing what works really well, what doesn't, and kind of building from that. So within this mono green Stompy list, I went a little bit creature heavier and really playing around some of the new threats. We have a 4 of Ascendant Pack Leader, 1 mana, 2/1. That when it enters the battlefield, if you control a permanent with 4 CMC or greater, it cuts a 1/1 counter, or whenever you cast a spell with 4 CMC, it gets bigger. So early, it can scale up. Late game, it can also enter as a fairly reasonable threat, like a 1 mana 3/2 if you have an Escus Chariot is really good value. Even at its base stats, like mono green hasn't had a really aggressive 1-drop. You're usually doing like Jaspera Sentinel, something of that nature. So this is something I'm interested to see how it plays out. We have the full 4 of Blizzard Brawl. I'm opting to go 4 Blizzard Brawl, 2 Inscription for 6 fight spells in the main board. We have our Rangers class, 4 of. We have our Werewolf Pack Leader, 4 of. We have our Old Growth Troll, 4 of. So just some consistent cards with that. I want to try out 1 Outland Liberator. I've seen some lists in Best of 1 opt to go with 1 or 2 Outland Liberators. It helps in the mirror with stuff like Chariot or Class, against Mono White if they have Maul or Paladin class. Even Portable Hole, just ways to kind of blow up things like that. So something interesting to try out there. Another new card we're going to try out is Cemetery Prowler. So there's a Cemetery cycle that exile cards from the graveyard, and they give you some value. So base stats, it's a 3 mana, 3/4 Vigilance. So kind of the direct comparison in this slot is this card better than Briarbridge Tracker? So Briarbridge is a 4/3, so more power, but dies to more common-based burn removal at 3. It also gives you card advantage in the form of a clue that can be duplicated with Chariot. This one allows us to, so if it enters the battlefield, if we exile a card that is, for example, a creature, all our creatures cost 1 less to cast. If we get rid of an artifact, it costs 1 less. So something like that, instant sorceries, anything of that nature. So it gives us kind of a pseudo storm ability in a way. So if we get a good Rangers class going, we're playing off the top of our library creatures, we can cast a lot of creatures for cheap potentially. So something I want to try out. The direct, like I said, analog is going to be, is this card better than Briarbridge Tracker in this list? I generally prefer Briarbridge over Kazandu Mammoth. I just don't really like the Mammoth. So we have that to try out. Another card I want to try out is Uvenwald Oddity. So 4 mana, it is the nerfed Questing Beast, if you may. It only has Trample and Haste. So 4 mana, 4/4, Trample, Haste. So decent stats to begin with. It is worse on the face level than Professor Gnarled Professor. So that's something we're going to again compare. Is the 5/4 Trample, not Haste, from Gnarled Professor with the Learn better than this? Or going up even to something like Vorinclex, is that something better? We can, for 7 mana, flip it. And when we flip it, it's really where we get some of that value. Trample, Haste, and then all your other creatures get Trample and Haste. So it just makes all your top decks really good. Makes all your creatures have Trample. You could get really large creatures, but sometimes they just get chumped. So this is something I want to try out. And this might not be right as a 4 of. We might want to go down to 2 of, play some Renin 7s, other cards like that. But I want to increase the odds of drawing it early in the games to really test it out and kind of get a feel. So we're playing the Uvenwald Oddity. We have Escus Chariot, just you're playing green, you got to play the Chariot. So just kind of going from that. And then the mana base with this deck is very simple. A couple Faceless Havens, a couple Field of Ruins, and then 3 of Lair of the Hydras, and a metric ton of Forests. So 25 lands total. Because we're not on the Renin 7 version, I didn't want to go to 26 lands. That's kind of where I want to start with the deck, kind of get a feel. You got a lot of 1-drops in both Ascendant Pack Leader and Blizzard Brawl. You have some good 2-drops, and then your 3-drops into 4-drops are just powerhouses. Everything needs to be answered. Otherwise, they all accrue some sort of value or just really close out the clock quickly. Having the 8 4-drops also plays well with the Pack Leader to get this going larger. and it just allows us to have another angle of attack. So that's pretty much it. Just a nice quick upgrade to mono green. We'll look to do this with some of the other decks as well as we go through and brew up some new ones as well. If there's any decks you'd like to see, kind of brewed ideas, if you have decks yourselves that you put together you want to share, do drop a comment with the deck list. We could take a look. Thursday I'm off all day, so we will be recording a bunch of videos for the new set and get that up live. So more decks you have, more ideas we could share, try to get those featured in a YouTube video. And as always, if you can, drop a like, comment, and if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. All are free and easy ways to help out the channel. Appreciate you stopping by today. Have a great one and stay safe out there.